pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call the meeting to order. First thing on our agenda today is the consent agenda. Okay.
Second.
If you notice, there's a lot of community service employees that are coming through. Those are the employees that are state employees now, but we're the fiscal agent for this regional mental health. Any questions on anything? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, we have Ryan Assell from MAPA, public hearing to discuss the status of funding for the Pottawattamie County Flood Buyout Project. I'll entertain a motion to go into
So moved.
public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for public hearing. Mr. Howell, you call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman?
Aye.
Supervisor Shea?
Yes.
Belt?
Aye.
Groby?
Aye.
And Schultz?
Aye.
Okay, we are now in a public hearing. Ryan, you're up.
All right. Well, so as you guys are well aware, 25% of our buyout funding is coming from community development block grant funds from the state of Iowa. And as a requirement of those funds, once we have drawn over 50% of the funds, which we have as of today, we have to conduct what is called the status of funding opportunity, or a SOFA hearing. Basically, I just have to read through how much money we've drawn, how much we will be doing, total project costs, kind of basic over like arcing themes, I guess, of the project. Just a requirement that the state has as we kind of go forward with the funds. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Before you start, this is in reference to the first phase of the buyout project, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So it's going to sound like I'm just reading stuff you already know. That's kind of a requirement of it. So, yep. So in the fall of 2021, work began on the acquisition and demolition of flood damaged properties in Pottawattamie County. To date, the county has procured administrative, appraisal, abstracting, legal, asbestos inspection and testing, and building demolition services. As of the date of this report, 8 properties have been acquired and 6 properties, which is now, as of last week, 7, have been demolished using HMGP and CDBG funds. The remaining 2 homes will be demolished by June 15th, 2022, which is next Wednesday. So throughout the project is principally funded with grants from FEMA. Pottawattamie County has received a CDBG award of $500,324, and that was on January 27th, 2022, to assist with state and local match requirements. As of 5/31/2022, a total of $354,140 in CDBG funds has received by the county. So the total expected cost of the project is $2,232,792. and $1,861,054 in project costs have been incurred as of May 31st, 2022, and we have drawn those funds as of both HMGP and CDBG funds as of today. So there have been no significant changes have been made to the project budget, performance targets, or project scope. The project schedule was kind of changed twice as we've updated you, first with a 90-day extension of the March 15th, 2022 deadline for demolition of homes, and then also due to an extended environmental review by FEMA on the 2 remaining homes, which we are demolishing by next Wednesday. So the first 6 homes were demolished and the clear site was approved on April 8th, 2022, and work is currently underway of the demolition of the 2 final homes, like I said, with the deadline of next Wednesday, June 15th. Yep. So that's all I gotta say. Is there any questions you guys have?
That'll all be, the hole will be filled and graded and everything by the 15th.
Yep, and they've already done that for one of the homes. Second home, they're starting, I believe, tomorrow, you said?
Correct.
Yep, tomorrow, so.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, is anyone from the public wish to speak for or against this in this public hearing? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved. Second. Whatever.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman?
Aye.
Supervisor Shea?
Aye.
Belt? Groby?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Okay, the first thing we have is discussion decision to approve and authorize the board to sign resolution 42-2022, code of conduct for the federal grant funds. Ryan, will you make the comment on that for me, please?
Yes, which one's it?
It's the
Oh,
code of conduct.
Yep, so there's gonna be 3 resolutions we'll need you to sign today. All of them are just different requirements by the state as part of the CDBG funds. They had about 6 to 8 that we needed, but a bunch of them have already been passed by the county. So this one, the code of conduct is so it's basically just applying to kind of the administration of grant funds and then also just kind of how the county would go about kind of selecting contractors, things of that nature. So basically the state kind of updates what they require every once in a while. So the county did have one, but we kind of needed an updated one primarily just for the CDBG funds. And this would apply to all federal funds from the state going forward as well.
Any questions for Pam or Ryan on resolution 42?
Mr. Chairman, there's another regular motion previous to the resolution, at the bottom of the first page, to accept the property acquisition activities. Do we need to do that first?
Let's see, I don't have the,
It's,
Well, it's on the script.
it's over the 2 pages. I'll make a motion to approve that.
The first one, to accept?
Yeah. it's
I'll
not big.
make a second. You got to go back to front page.
let me put a page.
It's at the very bottom.
Yeah, and then, okay,
Should have been its own item. I just got thrown out.
gotcha. All right, do we have a motion and a second on that?
Yep.
That's awesome. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, now we're moving on to resolution 42.
So this is my understanding. These are just the federal requirements that come down in order for us to execute those funds, right?
Correct.
So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 42, 2022.
I'll second.
And these are for all federal funds for the year then?
Yep. And as long as the state doesn't update the policies, these will kind of overarch, so they could last 5 years, 10 years. State could decide next year they want to update it. We'd have to pass a new one, but
Okay.
Any other questions for Ryan or Pam on that? Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman?
Aye.
Supervisors Belt?
Aye.
Groby?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
And Shay.
Aye.
Next up, we have resolution 43-22 of 2022. This is the publication of the fair housing policy and CDBGDR requirement.
yep, kind of the same thing as the last one, just policy that needs to be approved. This one basically just states that the county will affirmatively fair housing and won't, like, I guess basically engage in any, like, discriminatory policies in regards to housing, so.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions for Ryan or Pam on that?
No.
Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman? Supervisors Belt?
Aye.
Groby?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
And Shay.
Aye.
The last one we have today for this particular topic is 45-2022. It's Community Development Block Grant Sub-Recipient Procurement Policy and Procedures.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Go ahead.
Any questions for Pam or Ryan on that? Ryan, a lot of this was handled by our real estate person that did the negotiations with these people, right?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Hauser, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
That's the
I'm sorry.
resolution.
Mr. Hauser, you call the roll, please.
Well, if I can find the roll. I think this is it. Chairman Wickman?
Aye.
Supervisors Belt?
Aye.
Groby?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
And Shay.
Aye.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Next up,
So is Ryan the one that's, looking at trying to get us some more money then, or who's?
Yep, for
for the
CDBG.
next.
Yeah, the state's still kind of, as far as I'm aware from my contact, they're still kind of intermediately in giving out more money. So I'm gonna ask them more kind of in the upcoming days, just to kind of see where that's at. But as of now, they haven't been super clear on it, so.
Who is your contact for that?
It's Steven Stransky, he took over, well, I guess, department-wise, I'm not exactly sure, but he works under kind of the CDBG disaster recovery funds. And he recently ascended to that position as his supervisor left for a different job, so I think that might be why there's a little bit of confusion there.
Okay, well, if you can kind of keep on that, that'd be great. You have some other people that wanna, I think we have some other homes that are vacant, right?
We do, and the hazard mitigation funds are in the process. This is the
Right,
county match.
well, we take anything we can get.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that gentleman's name with FEMA?
Terry Brown.
Yes. Are we working with him on those CDBG?
He really doesn't have any
Yeah, he doesn't,
involvement in
He
that.
won't have any involvement in that?
He's Iowa, right?
Yes,
Homeland Security.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Ryan or Pam? Ryan, thank you very much.
yeah,
Thanks.
Thanks.
Next up, we have Matt Wilbur, County Attorney. Discussion decision to approve and authorize the board to sign resolution 44-2022, authorizing the purchase of property and designating the board chair as the authorized representative to sign any necessary closing documents. Matt, you're up.
Thanks, Tim. You were dealing with this last week. I apologize I wasn't here. I'm not apologizing for being on vacation because I enjoyed it. But I'm sorry that I wasn't able to personally handle it last week. Sounds like this is, as you know, for the continuation of the Railroad Highway Trail going from Council Bluffs up to Underwood. We had begun the process of potential condemnation proceedings involving several parcels that are contiguous there that were owned by a couple of owners, subsequently engaged in negotiations with those owners, and we've come to terms. You had some concerns, I think, with some of the language agreement or language. And so Leanne worked with Joe Thornton for the sellers, and we got that hashed out. Sounds like I think the one concern had to do with the legal description for the permanent easement, that it had involved the entire parcels, and we just wanted to get that negotiated down to what did they actually need to access their field. So that's the amended easement that I'll have. I don't know that you have to do anything with it today. You just have to authorize the chairman to sign it at the appropriate time. And then the other was the temporary easement. I think there was some concern. The current owners have the right to continue harvesting hay that is growing on it. There was some concern by the board to I sort of close the potential loophole and make sure that they weren't replanting new hay, that they just are to harvest hay. And so this now indicates that they shall not plant hay on the property after this date. So, well, they have the right to harvest hay, so that would be a hard, yeah, it'd be hard for them to harvest corn, since they don't have any right to harvest that. So, I feel like this, easement is, should hopefully take care of that. We still have to set a closing date. You don't need to be involved with that, but what I'm looking for today is that you pass, resolution 44-2022, which then sets forth really all the specifics of this property. We'll make sure that these amended easements and quitclaim deed are attached. And then that part of that resolution authorizes the chairman to sign all closing documents. Then as soon as we can get a closing date set up, we'll get this parcel put to bed. And I'll take any questions that you have.
So that easement that was in question was so that he could get up and cross the road to get it to his field across the railroad highway to.
I'm not sure of all the specific, I know that the gentleman that's currently farming it has been in contact with Mark Shoemaker as well. And I think they're all in agreement. They know the location that they're talking about. And yes, I mean, it's probably possible to get into the property without this easement. It would just be more inconvenient for the owner. And I mean, obviously, we're trying to negotiate a deal that didn't involve us going through condemnation proceedings. It's always better if you can get agreements rather than take it. People tend to get pretty irritated if government comes in and takes their property, even if you have to pay fair market value. If you can negotiate a deal, it's better to do that. And so that was not a big concession, I don't think, for the county giving up that, to give them that access. So we were willing to do it. But yes, that's my understanding. It gives them access into their field, the most convenient straight shot possible. I've also talked to Mark, it's on topic, but he had said that we've been working with the engineering firm. They will make sure that the trail is fortified at that location. I mean, it'll be deeper concrete in that space so that it can accommodate whatever equipment they'd be pulling over. So they are aware of the locations, they're working on that. And I don't think there seems to be any problems between us and conservation.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
So, if the farm would sell, the easement's gonna stay permanent, right?
Yep.
So, is there a process to get rid of a permanent easement then?
Other than negotiating with the next owner.
Right.
I mean, these are.
So then you can
Sure.
possibly, okay.
Yeah, you can get rid of it, but, I mean, I suppose it would depend on who else would buy it, but I mean, I just know, for example, plenty of people buy houses, they have to have an easement for their driveway. The driveway is a perpetual easement because it doesn't do you any good to buy a house that you can't drive, to. So, you know, figuring out a way to get to the field, you know, keeping it from being essentially landlocked, I mean, I think that's the purpose, of the easement.
Well, this one is kind of unique in the sense that it's line of sight because and I can see why he wants to go up there a little ways and then cross because of the line of sight and the hill, cross back and forth. But in the future, if someone gets that piece across the road, they wouldn't be farming on both sides of the road.
Sure, if somebody had, if a new owner bought it and did not need that access, then we could negotiate a deal to have the easement go away. I mean, if they had no need to cross it, but, right now, obviously, the value of the property for them would be diminished if they didn't have that easy access, so.
So is it 3 parcels it's broke into?
It's 3 assessor parcels, it's 4 legal description parcels. So, the assessor's office sometimes, for convenience purposes, will consolidate 2 different legal descriptions into 1 parcel. So I clarified that with Joe Thornton because that was something I obviously noticed pretty quick. I'm like, we have 4 legal descriptions, 3 assessor parcels. Yeah, the assessor parcel numbers that are on that resolution correspond to the legal descriptions that we have in all of our documents. It's a good question.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
I'm good.
Mr. Hauser, will you call the roll, please?
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisors Belt,
Aye.
Groby,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
and Shay.
So do you have like a timeline that the trail people are gonna keep moving forward then once we get this done? Do you wanna say anything about that?
I don't know those answers, sorry.
I think that.
They're working on design, and I don't think it's gonna be this fall. We're pushing them to.
Yeah.
If not fall, it'll be spring.
I do know that they're trying to work with this farmer as well on the design to disrupt as little of the land as possible, you know, through this period of time. So, I mean, they're trying to obviously accommodate all the neighbors the best they can, but it's gonna be exciting once it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's gonna be great.
Yes, it will.
We can ask Mark to give us an update when he gets to that point.
And just, you know, he didn't blow this off. He asked if he needed to be here. He had another meeting that he needed to be at, and I told him, no, not for this portion. He didn't, so he would have been here, happy to answer any questions. I just sort of called him off.
Okay. Moving on.
Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna run upstairs very briefly. I'll be right back.
We have Gates and Slack, building the grounds. You with DLR?
Yeah.
Deputy James, right?
I am.
Awesome. For DLR, discussion decision awarding the jail chiller replacement contract to Grunwald Mechanical in the amount of $716. Deputy Doolan, are you here for this one as well?
Yeah, I'm here for, I got the whole enchilada today.
All right. So you guys are up.
Well, I'm recommending that we go with Grunwald Mechanical. It was low bid for $716,373.
Can you remind us what the estimate was?
The preliminary opinion of cost was 1.2. This came in well below that, which is uncommon for today. I think we were trying
How we
to,
come so far off?
well, I think we were trying to cover our bases, you know, not knowing how the cost of material was gonna be at this time.
I actually like that, we're lower.
Yeah, the age of COVID, it's just, you're kind of guessing. We wanted to make sure we were conservative in the original cost.
Well, this note on this one, I mean, that's a little bit interesting. Lead time for chiller, 35 to 36 weeks. Wow, so
And that's down. When we
That's
started.
what?
That's low. It was higher, a month ago.
Really?
Lead time has come down, yeah.
for Ray Martin, I mean,
They're all gonna have a long lead time, I believe, so we'll have to,
so there is one for this one too?
there is lead times for the chillers that these guys are supplying to.
Okay, so they're the Grunwald one.
Yes,
Okay, it just wasn't on here, huh?
correct.
Well, well, okay.
Wow. It's like they're having to fabricate it just to get it to us, you know?
No, right, but I'm just, that's.
Yeah.
Three,
The,
four,
the proposed chiller is 35 weeks.
the one that we're gonna
Yeah.
potentially approve?
Yep, that's why we're asking for it now, so we can get it ordered and get
Okay,
it on the way.
okay.
I'll make a motion.
Along what we got right now then for the jail, is that?
Yeah, the jail chiller right now is still running. We've had high oil content in the oil for that chiller for multiple years, which is concerning. The chiller's end of life right now, but right now it's running, so we're okay. I'm not worried. I think we can get through it.
Who maintains the chiller now?
Maintenance department. We contract with heating and cooling.
Heating and cooling?
Yeah, that's the name of the company, Heating and Cooling.
That's who.
Very creative.
Yep.
if you
They
got-
do the eddy current analysis and they do the oil analysis on the chiller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Brad,
Okay,
did you make them?
I'll make a motion to approve
I'll
for
second it.
716.
Thank you for getting that cost down, that's a big deal. So,
Yeah, that was a big relief.
you know, I remember on a whiteboard writing it up there, and having us thinking, man, that's a pretty significant cost, so it's good to see that.
is that on
You have
a
anything
body?
you'd like to add, Jeff?
My biggest thing is get it to glycol instead of water. That was the issues we had the last couple of years, and if we get another really cold winter, the water's freezing in those pipes, and we're gonna rain down on inmates, which I know some people would have different opinions about that, but the state ombudsman has a very specific opinion about that. so.
It gets expensive replacing coils too, and those air handlers that are on the roof that, tend to freeze up when it gets cold. So the glycol is gonna be a big improvement for that.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Jason, see if we can't get that chiller ordered as fast as possible, so we don't have to come back and make a change in the contract.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it might be this week still.
Okay.
Where do they make them at?
I think the proposed is Daikin, and I don't know where they make Daikin chillers.
Was it Korea or something?
Oh,
I know
no, it's, yeah.
We're being held up on our construction now by Train for HVAC units, air conditioners. They might not be here till October now. And so the whole project's gonna stop and we're gonna have to wait for these HVACs units to
Wow.
get here. So it's really getting ugly in that world.
All right, thanks so much.
Unreal.
Thank you.
Next up, we have, are you here for this too, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm sure. He threw a bunch of stuff on my desk, so I'm sure.
Thanks, guys.
Next up, we have Janet Lemrick, our HR director, Trish Bernhards,
It don't matter.
with the jail, Jeff Doolin.
They can throw stuff at me.
Update on business manager job description. Who's going first? Trish? Jana?
I give you a brief rundown and then turn
Okay.
it over to Trish. Trish and Steve were taking a look at the job description for the business manager and feeling that the duties are very similar to the office coordinator over on the sheriff's side. So what we've done is looking to make that consistent with the title, pay grade and that such. So if you want to add anything.
We just felt that the duties that our business manager was currently undertaking, she does a lot more than just handle the business manager duties. She's our HR person, so when we have new applicants coming in, she keeps the process flowing, working with the HR department here at the courthouse. She also is responsible for a variety of ordering for the jail and working with all of our contracts. She's working with our new hires when they come in. She does the paper flow for the jail department. And we don't have any type of office supervisor right now, and she supervises all of our gals that oversee the secretarial duties. So the office coordinator position, really the duties really do describe more of what she does on a day-to-day basis.
Is this salary exempt position or is this?
We're good?
It is hourly. I did speak with Steve about that and he wants to leave it as hourly.
Before we get there, that.
Yeah, we're gonna try to make it exempt.
Exempt.
That's the plan. So you guys know Linda and you know Nina, and for whatever reason, the jobs were always like this. And we never understood why. Nina has more budget authority, more employees, more whatever. All we're doing is bringing Linda and Nina to the equal
Same
level.
level.
And, it's equitable. It's the right thing to do, so.
But you want to make it exempt later, not now?
I think she was okay with exempt. We've spoken to her about it and
Because I had emailed Steve and he said that's a conversation for a later date.
When did you?
we're okay with it.
I talked to her earlier this week, and she was good with it,
Yeah.
so unless you don't.
No,
Okay.
whatever you
Yeah.
guys want. I mean, I feel that the responsibilities do meet the exemption testing. So
There.
then what we would want to do, maybe even we do it next week, is then bring Linda's job description. And all we have to do is make that exempt. That would be the only change.
They're both confidential employees of the elected. So
That's why I asked the question. It
Yeah,
seemed like
absolutely.
What you were describing to me was, why aren't we?
So they supervise, how many individuals?
Nina's got 5.
Yeah. 4.
4.
4.
And Linda's got 5. So it's the clerks as a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. So it's 4 and 5. And one is exempt and one is not exempt now?
They're both non-exempt today.
Okay.
The original job description we pulled off Linda was written in '86. That's how long it's been since this has been
That's the one we're looking at now?
reviewed.
No,
No,
this
this is
is a
the
different
updated, yeah.
Yeah. So you're right, we will really I'll retype that one and send it to you guys to review.
Because it included, the manipulation of a typewriter, those kinds of things inside the job description.
So, okay, so you'll come back then to do exempt next week or something or whatever.
Do you want to do them both exempt at the same time next week, or would you like to do?
That's
this?
up to you guys. I'm okay with it. Yeah,
So, I mean,
because next week we were gonna have a discussion about pushing Nina into this position, so.
So then how about for this one, we're updating Nina's job description today,
Yep.
changing the title, we'll make it exempt since we're here, and then,
I'm okay with that.
yeah, and then we'll bring out Linda's next week, just to make it exempt.
Deal.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve that and change it to.
I'll second.
What is the pay or salary difference that would be effective July? Is this effective July 1?
That's what we'd like, if we could do it. And we've got the budget, obviously, just because of the vacancies that we have on the personnel side on the jail. It's not that much, but I didn't bring the
I
number.
was gonna say, I don't.
Yeah, so, today the position is in a pay grade 521. We're recommending that it go to a 522 because that's what Linda's office coordinator position is at, a 522. When we take a look at pay, today, the incumbent is in 521 step 10 at $31.92. So if we make this effective July 1st, move to pay grade 522, what I would think would be the new step 10, because, we're moving all the pay ranges a little, so that would take him to 3360, equaling a 5.26% pay increase, which also would be consistent with the employee handbook when it talks about promotions, that they should receive at least a 5% pay increase.
I mean, the way I'm looking at this is that you're cleaning up old messes.
Yeah.
This wasn't fixed since I was 3 years old, by the way.
Right.
In 1986, so.
And I had been a cop for 6 years, but we won't go down that road.
So I mean,
Graduate high school.
obviously, we need to get these things fixed. I don't see this being an issue.
And you guys know, I know, Nina makes her salary back for the county every year.
Jeez.
We've just been involved in negotiations for furniture for the new addition. I think those people over at the office place are just about ready to scream murder because she's got them down $40,000-$50,000 from where we started.
Yes.
And she does that with everything.
Everything.
She may be the best contract negotiator I've ever been around. So, yeah, I don't think we're losing money on this one, yeah.
Yeah, if you ever wanna buy a house, buy a car,
Yeah.
take Nina with you.
Yeah.
Let her beat him up.
Yes.
So it won't be hourly anymore though, right, Janet? It will be.
It would be salary, correct, so I'll create a letter and we'll mail that to Nina's home, to just give notice, but we'll make that, July 1st, we have time to make that exemption change.
Okay.
So then we'll pay out any comp time she has on the books. I
Right,
don't know if
right.
she
No,
has
and
any.
I've talked to her about that. She's good
Okay.
with it.
Okay, that's all right.
I just need to visit with Linda, because we didn't know we were going down that road,
Yeah.
but I think she'll be okay with it. We treat her pretty much as a salaried employee anyway, so.
She does a lot too.
Any other questions for Jeff, Trish, or Jenna? The motion and a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Next three are with Jana. First off, we have discussion decision to approve and authorize the board to sign the Askme courthouse employee agreement effective July 1 through June 30 of 2025. This is a 3-year agreement. Any comments on the agenda?
Just two quick comments. So again, similar with our other contracts, that the pay range is moving, as we have discussed, with employees getting a 4% pay increase. But we did add one statement under Article 7, hours of work. This is the only change in the contract in regards to overtime, such that overtime will be offered in a fair and equitable manner. Supervisors will not receive preferential treatment to choose overtime. However, understanding that at times, a supervisor may be called to address the situation rather than an employee based on the nature of the request. Those are the only changes.
That sounds more like in line what we talked about
Mm-hmm.
in negotiations.
Motion to approve.
I'll second
Any other questions for Jenna on this? We have a motion and a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, we have a memorandum of understanding between the Askme employees for the maintenance and custodial staff. Jana, you want to make a couple comments on that for me, please?
Yeah, so this MOU is specific to the courthouse union contract, the one that you just approved. And this includes the supplemental pay, which again, according to Chapter 20, you can't have supplemental pay in the union contracts. And there's no changes, and this is the same as it has been. It's just in an MOU, same as that we had last year, in regards to the additional 50 cents an hour that they receive for working over at the jail. And then they have a different comp bank. They can accrue up to 60 hours. The unions do have a little bit different comp banks, you know, like for example, detention officers, theirs is 96 hours. But this is no different than what we have had in the past. It's just another MOU to go with the contract.
What's the
that.
pleasure?
So I'll make the motion to approve that.
Second.
Any other questions for Jen on the MOU with that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, we have a memorandum of understanding between Pottawattamie County and the Communications Center. Jen, you make a couple comments on that for me, please.
Yes, this is the second MOU that we have with Askme, specifically our 911 group. You've already signed the first MOU. This is the second one that is really clarifying their 12-hour shifts. We're following suit in how the deputies did it. When the deputies went to 12-hour shifts, they didn't change their contract yet. They kept it in an MOU to go through the process, give it about a year, and then we moved it all into the contract. And so that's what we're doing as well here. So this clarifies the 12-hour shifts, and when it comes to the contract, a lot of times you'll have things that specifically mention the hours. And so when you're going from 8 hours, if you know the contract may still say 8 hours, but the MOU says 12 hours. But we did add a statement at the bottom of that first page to indicate that anything in the contract will now refer to 12 hours, but that doesn't mean there's an increase in benefits. So all employees receive 12 hours a month of sick time to be put into their banks. The way that their union contract is written, it states a calculation. It says 1.5 days, which when you're working 8 hours shifts, that equals 12 hours. But we're not saying 12 hours now, 1.5. So you're not getting more sick time. And that's what this is clarifying. So the only difference is that this MOU is for 1 year, where the contract is for 3 years.
Why did we do that?
Because again, we wanted to give them a full year with these new 12-hour shifts, see if anything needed to be altered, but we didn't want it in a 3-year contract because then we'd have to wait 3 years to alter it and edit it. So we will review this MOU in 1 year, but the contract will only be open for wage discussions.
Right.
Yeah, that's why the date difference
Are
is there.
they doing the 12 hours already, or they start July?
July 1st.
Okay.
Mhm.
Excited about it?
I'd say it's 51% to 49%.
Okay.
Oh, really? I thought they were wanting to do that.
They did vote, and I don't know the exact results of the vote, but I believe it's about 51 to 49.
Oh, thought that was their, I thought we sat in on that one, I thought.
I think you did sit in that negotiation, and the negotiators in there are looking forward to it. I mean, it's not just the 12-hour shifts that's changing, it's the rotation of days off, which I think we're really looking forward to trying for recruitment, hoping that, because again, we had talked about that if you get hired, it's 7+ years before you get a weekend off. And so now with these 12-hour shifts, plus the rotation of days off, that you will eventually get some weekends off, and you won't have to wait 7 years. So that's what goes along with it too. We're anxious to see how that's gonna go.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We had a question for Jana on this. No, I'll be back. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, we have public comments. Anyone sign the? So we'll move on to a closed session. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 20.
I just wanted to talk to one of you guys. Are you gonna be in closed session a while? Or
Yeah.
could I get,
We'll take a 5-minute break.
that'd be great. That'd be great. I appreciate that.
This is pursuant to Iowa Code 20.17, parent 3, discussion decision on labor negotiations, collective bargaining matters. So, sorry. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz. Aye. Ruby.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Shay.